I've been back at work for a few weeks now, so let's bag this milk and talk about it. This is actually everything that I pumped at work yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, I threw it in the fridge and forgot about it, so I have to bag it today. I know I've mentioned it before, but I commute into Manhattan for work. That means I am up early and out the door before the kids wake up. Obviously, I would love to be here when the kids wake up, get them breakfast and send them to daycare or whatever, but honestly, that's just not the case for my work schedule and to catch a relatively convenient train time. I don't want to say going back to work the second time was easier by any means, but I obviously knew what to expect this time around than the first time with JJ. I'm not gonna lie, that little bit of sleep that I get on the train uninterrupted is nice. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm sure other working moms can agree with me that obviously you feel guilty and feel like you're gonna miss out on huge milestones for your babies. But at the end of the day, you know what you're doing is providing for your family and you're doing what you need to do. And that's that. Since this is my second pumping journey, pumping at work is a way less of a daunting task to me. Like, I was not necessarily hiding it the first time, but like I was making sure my pumps weren't too loud, and I was like almost like hiding my milk in the fridge, where this time I'm like, I do not care. If you hear my pumps, you hear my pumps. If you see my milk, you see my milk. Obviously I stay covered and respectful of everybody at work, but I'm a mom. Everybody knows that. So I am not gonna hide the things that I'm doing to help provide for my baby. Sometimes seeing their reaction to the amount of milk that I pump at the end of the day is kind of funny. They are just always dumbfounded that I produce as much milk as I do. One of the hardest things about being a working mom is having to pick and choose which school events or whatever that you're gonna have to either miss or take off of work to go to. Luckily, everything on JJ's has been on Fridays and I'm off at home on Fridays, so I have been able to go, but I know a lot of working parents do not have that option or that luxury. There was one of JJ's school things that Jimmy had to miss, and even though I was there for JJ, like, Jimmy felt horrible and guilty, and I feel like any working parent can agree that, like, it is just the worst feeling to know that you're missing something for your child's school event and you're that parent that's not there. I just said about how my coworkers are always like dumbfounded with how much milk I produce. They always ask me, what do I do with all the milk? And once I tell them that I donate it to either other moms or to the NICU, they kind of are always shocked that like that's a thing and that another baby would be drinking another mom's milk. One annoying question that I get asked more often than not is, wouldn't I rather be at home with my babies? So, what kind of question is that, first of all? Yes, obviously. Going back to work, I actually think has helped Jimmy and June get on a really good schedule, because sometimes when I'm home with her, like days like today, I kind of just let her dictate and tell me when she's hungry, when she wants to sleep type of thing. Jimmy and June thrive off of having a schedule. Not that I don't like having a schedule for her, it's just that I'm home and I'm trying to do a million things, and you know, obviously I'm wearing her right now. Like, I tried to put her down for the crib nap, but she just wasn't taking it. Something that me and Jimmy noticed that when I went back to work, JJ did the same thing. They would stay asleep, and then the second I pull out of the driveway, they wake up. So it's like kind of funny and crazy to me that they know. You cannot tell me that these babies don't know when the mom is gone, because every day this week, I pull out of the driveway at 6:05, and I get notifications on the Nanit sound coming from June's crib. So that means that she's awake, either starting to wake up or crying already. And it's something that I think is just so crazy, because JJ did the exact same thing. I try to pump at work every 3 hours. Obviously, depending on the day and how busy we are, sometimes it's a little bit longer. But I've seen questions on like, how do I maintain my milk supply while being away from June, and trying to stay on an every 3 hour schedule is key. It's 100% part of the reason why I have an oversupply, but being able to have the availability at work to pump, which I know not everybody does, is a huge factor. I know me having the luxury of being able to pump almost every 3 hours at work is huge, and I'm so grateful for that. One question that I do get asked more often than not is, if you're here, who's watching the baby? Sometimes I give a very sarcastic answer and just say, oh, the dogs are with the baby. I think just being asked that over and over again has just struck a nerve with me, because obviously either somebody's watching the baby or she's at daycare already. Like, do you think I left my baby alone? At work, I've been able to consistently pump around 35 to 40 ounces per day. So I am very happy that going back to work, I can tell, has not affected my milk supply. Obviously, pumping and breastfeeding, I am obviously hungry 24/7. So that is something that I noticed my office employees have picked up on. I am eating around the clock, which isn't really my usual behavior. So I think it's funny that they've picked up on it, because I'm always snacking. I'm literally always eating something, whether it's a granola bar or literally anything at this point, just to try to satisfy that hunger. But I think it's funny that they picked up on it. Something that I'm doing different this time around is using my milk storage bags to bring home my milk at the end of the day, and that has made a huge difference, because my sanity of not having to clean probably 6 to 7 extra bottles a day has been absolutely huge. If you get free milk bags from insurance, like, I'm telling you, yes, it's wasteful, but it has helped me so much in the fact that I don't have to worry about cleaning so many extra bottles at the end of the day. I know there'll be more work conversations later on, but for now, this is about, I think, 65 ounces going to the freezer.